What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so I have some breaking news report, and that is, according to new reports, 32 Venezuelan gang members have invaded a Chicago apartment complex. Okay? According to the article, is titled Audio Venezuelan Gang Takes Over Chicago Apartment Building. An audio recording from a 911 dispatch call on Monday night reveals that an armed group of 32 Venezuelan nationals reportedly took control of a Chicago apartment building. In the audio recording from Monday night's incident, a 911 dispatcher can be heard saying, quote, caller says 32 Venezuelans are trespassing the building, showing guns in the courtyard, and they have motorcycles in the courtyard as well. As a matter of fact, I think I can pull up this article. This audio, excuse me. Here, I think this is it right here.
Motorcycles in the courtway, all stairwells filled, and nothing further. Citywide person with a gun, 6124 South King Drive. Caller says 32 Venezuelans are trespassing the building, showing guns in the courtyard, and they have motorcycles in the courtyard as well. All stairwells are filled. Nothing further is unclear. Yeah, I'm sorry. You headed over to the shop better to the 6124 on King for the migrants?
On King Drive.
Alright, 10-4. There's another available unit arriving 310. We had multiple calls. First with the gun, 6124 South King. Also came over to disturbance large gathering. Could be 32 Venezuelans trespassing in the building property, showing guns in the courtyard. They have motorcycles in the courtway, all stairwells filled, and nothing further.
Okay. So this is the thing. Okay. So I'm trying to be fair with this, right? Now, when it comes to this situation, of course, we just had the reports which seem to be accurate in Aurora, Colorado, Venezuelan gang members taking over 2, possibly 3 apartment complexes in that state. Now, we had somebody on the channel in a live stream I did on Monday confirm that this was the case, but that the media that's reporting on this is overblowing it when they say that they're taking over the city. It's not to that effect, nowhere near. But to push back on that, they shouldn't be doing it at all. It shouldn't even be happening. Now, look, the police chief in Aurora came out yesterday, I think it was actually, and said that they don't think that it actually happened. Venezuelans taking over a complex at all. They just said that, quote, it may be some gang activity, etc. That seems to be contrary to what is being reported by people who live there. So you got to pretty much, in my opinion, and I'm you know, I guess I'm putting my opinion in this, but sometimes you got to look at how these things work. There's an election going on, so, and not just Democrat versus Republican, but there's oftentimes an overall interest at hand when it comes to these types of things. Although it could be partisan and Democrat, Republican, but oftentimes these people are told what to do and what to say, or cajoled into going with the flow and saying what we want you to say. So that's how that works. There's also reports that in Detroit, Venezuelan gang members have been invading homes. Now, this, according to those reports, it's not just in predominantly black neighborhoods. They're going over into well-to-do neighborhoods. Now, remember, it was last year Joe Biden granted temporary citizenship or visas to almost 500,000 Venezuelan migrants. And we already know, and this is a fact, this can't be disputed, that the Democratic Party is incentivizing or giving these people and other undocumented immigrants incentives because they're playing politics. They're basically looking to maximize their slight majority nationally when it comes to Congress and trying to increase Democratic representation as far as Congress is concerned and the Electoral College. If you don't know how the Electoral College works, the state's population allocates representation in Congress, the number of representatives. Now, every state is fixed at 2 senators, but the number of representatives is directly proportional to the amount of people that live in the state. Now, give you a little bit of an education on what's going on with certain states, quote unquote, blue states. If you look at Pennsylvania, if you look at Michigan, if you look at Illinois, if you look at California, those are very populous states, but their populations have been shrinking. These states either are very heavily or at least lean blue. The most, and if I didn't say New York, I should have said New York too, New York. All those states are very populous, and in national elections, they lean blue. Wisconsin is a swing state. Michigan is a swing state, but ever so slightly leans blue. But all of those states I mentioned, their population is declining. California has lost about 1 million residents since 2020. New York's population has decreased. So has Michigan's. So that's less representation, which also means less electoral votes. States that are increasing in population, states like Arizona, states like Nevada, states like Texas, Florida, the population is booming, especially in many southern states. Now, Texas has been red for quite some time nationally. Florida has moved from a swing state to a state that leans red. Nevada is a state that was blue recently, but it's starting to tilt to a swing state. Arizona used to be a state that was really red nationally. Now it's a swing state that might lean ever so slightly red, even though Biden won it in 2020. So what I'm saying is, I think the Democratic Party is trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. They're trying to swell the population in these states with voters that are favorable to their policies and to their party in general. Even though I think it's going to backfire because these people are a little bit different. They're doing all these little incentives and giving them all these nooks and crannies, and giving them all this money, but that doesn't mean that they're going to vote blue. Also, they're trying to dilute the black vote, which they see, although still overwhelmingly Democratic, is starting to fracture a bit. There's a little ever so shift realignment in black voting when it comes to the Democratic Party. Instead of getting 85 to 95% of black vote, it seems like if you look at the polling that's been done, and there have been thousands of polls to support this, it seems like it's going down more to 70, 75. And it's still a huge margin, but if you know how close these elections are, that could be the difference between a close Kamala Harris victory in Wisconsin or Michigan or Pennsylvania, or it could be the difference between if she only gets 70% or 75%, a Trump victory. And it's the closest election could be. And when you look at the fact that Pennsylvania with 19, Michigan with 15, and Wisconsin with 10 electoral votes, what is that? 25, 25, 19. So that's 44 electoral votes in those 3 states. That's important. So this is the thing, man. The way I look at this is as far as the truthfulness of all this, the veracity of these claims about these reports, I see a couple of things. This is either somebody falsifying reports, you know what I'm saying, attention grabbing stuff, making a mountain out of a molehill. Maybe this isn't, I mean, this has been reported, but I'm not seeing the visual evidence that we saw with Aurora, Colorado. Could this be bullshit? Or if it's not, it's starting to make me wonder and think that this is some coordinated effort. I mean, it's just interesting how what happened in Aurora, Colorado happened. This is being reported in Chicago. The reports about what's going on in Detroit, which hasn't been mentioned by the mainstream media. The situations that have occurred in New York, which has been documented. Matter of fact, we even had the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, come out and confirm that their gang members terrorized New York City. So this is something that's been going on, and the media is not talking about it. Why? Because as I said before, time and time again, 85% of the media is in the bag for Kamala Harris. So they're not going to report anything that's damaging or detrimental to her campaign. And people can sit up there and say, well, why aren't you going in on Trump? Why? Because, look, and Kwame Brown said something about this recently. Give me 1 second. I got to do something. Give me 1 second. Kwame Brown said something that was very, very true on his channel. He made a comparison about how we vote and how it doesn't make any sense. We demand so much more from a party that we're not affiliated with than the party that we blindly follow and have no expectations of. And the comparison that he made, which was brilliant in my opinion, is the comparison. I'm kind of changing things up a little bit. He basically said that's like a man being married to a woman, and a woman treats him like shit. He works 9 to 5. I'm kind of adding some things to it. A man's working 9 to 5 every day, working hard. Comes home, dirty house, sink full of dishes, yet no food prepared for him. She's a housewife. She comes home all hours of the night, breath smelling like yuck, questionable stains all over her dress, and he doesn't seem to give a shit. Doesn't care, you know. Seems completely oblivious to it all, and just so and entirely devoted to this woman, despite the fact that she treats him like shit. But somehow he'll knock on the door to his neighbor's house and demand why the neighbor's wife doesn't fuck him or cooks his dinner every night. That's kind of like how we are looked at right now. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, and by the way, we expect these things from the neighbor's wife, but we're always cussing at her and saying she's a piece of shit. That's kind of how it's looked upon. Well, when we really should be saying, look, fuck Trump. Fuck him. But we need to be more demanding of the Democratic Party. That's my problem with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And there's going to be somebody in the comment section, yeah, spoken like a true Republican. There's no evidence this is happening. Why don't you ever go in on Trump? Well, I did. Every fucking day, whether it was community posts or videos when he was president. But Trump's not in office. Biden's in power. And the Biden foreign policy has led directly to what this shit was going on. Now, look, illegal immigration has been going on for quite some time, but it's accelerated under Biden. And these Venezuelan gang members, more than likely have come in under Biden and Kamala Harris watch. Matter of fact, Kamala Harris, because she was the border czar, right? But they're covering for her ass. So, you know, there's that. Oh, by the way, a man that lives in Chicago gave a warning to these migrants. Here it is. Cut that off. Here we go.
This is the warning. If you ain't on no bullshit, stay neutral. Somebody please translate. Stay neutral. If you know somebody that's in your building on bullshit, don't let them run in that building, and don't let nobody see them run in that building. Because once word get out that that's the building that they in, they gonna chop that bitch down. Whatever building, the abandoned building y'all occupying and all that shit, yeah, you better get your food and just stay in the house. Because they come out doing some bullshit, y'all gonna regret that. You're gonna really regret that. So, I don't speak Spanish, so somebody need to translate. I hope they got TikTok that translate, I guess. They can kind of make me seem like I'm speaking Spanish. But anyway, take this like a grain of salt if you like. But this ain't Colorado. This ain't Utah. This ain't none of them places. This is just like where you from. The only difference is y'all use a lot of handgun, old revolvers, and machetes and shit. We got switches. We got switches. If you're not familiar with what a switch is, we will show you. We don't really be with all the telling and shit. But we will definitely show you what a switch is. So, again, somebody translate. Yeah. Make this known. This ain't like Colorado. This ain't.
Yeah, so I know where the switch is, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna say this, like I said in conclusion, man, this definitely feels like some type of coordinated situation, man. And also, those police officers took over an hour to respond to that situation. So that tells you pretty much what neighborhood they were and what apartment complex in that neighborhood, what the makeup of that neighborhood was. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.